Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm Darren, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. On this channel, we focus on both fragrance and fashion. So this is a channel where not only what you smell like matters, but what you look like matters as well. I'm kidding. No, I'm not really, but seriously, though, man. What you smell like and what you look like matters, man. So that's why I talk about primarily fragrances, but I throw a few fashion tips in there for you as well, man, because I think if you can combine both, you can smell good and look your best, then I think you are off to a good start. So if that sounds interesting to you, then I invite you to click the subscribe button and take a quick second to tap that bell icon as well to make sure that you get notified when I upload new content on the channel. So guys, on today's video, we're going to be talking about beast mode fragrances. And I know this term is thrown around a lot, man, but these are some masculine, manly beast mode fragrances that perform all day on my skin. Now, I do want to clarify or be more specific about what all day is. Now, I think a good day's wear out of a fragrance typically is about that 6.5 to 8 hour mark. So if you can get 6.5 to 8 hours out of a fragrance, you're doing good. But I'm talking about fragrances that go past that 8 hour mark. In most cases with these fragrances on this list today, I'm talking about 9+ hours. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, sometimes when it get past 10, 11 hours, I really stop kind of taking notes. But these fragrances on this list, sincerely, are fragrances that give me that beast mode performance. So again, I've clarified that for you. I'm talking about at least 9+ hours. So this is not for the faint of heart. If you don't like masculine, manly type fragrances, this is not going to be the list for you. But if you like a fragrance that's masculine, that's manly, and that's going to give you that strong, all day long beast mode kind of performance, then this is the list for you. And if you want to hear what I have on the list, you already know how we get down. Keep it locked right here. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the list. But really quickly, I do want to say this. I talked to you guys last week about the suit. This is actually the suit that I got from Spear & Mackay, and it is back. Of course, I have taken it to my tailor and had some alterations done to it. I'm going to give you guys a video later this week where I'm going to kind of give you an overall look at how this suit looks now that it's been tailored. I won't do that today, but later on this week, I will do that. And I'm also going to tell you about some different fragrances and what I'm wearing at that time, what I would kind of pair with that. So I think it's going to be some interesting something for you guys to be able to watch and kind of learn a few things about, you know, kind of how I go about pairing a certain fragrance with a certain attire. So that'll be fun. But anyway, this suit is from Spear & Mackay. The shirt is from Spear & Mackay as well. I know I talk a lot about Spear & Mackay, but it's a great company. They do quality men's wear at a great price. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this list, man. We don't want to, you know, belabor the time. Some of these fragrances, I'm pretty sure you've heard about most of these fragrances, but these are the ones that are beast mode. And the first one on this list comes from the house of Mancera, and it's this right here, Red Tobacco. Red Tobacco. This is a beast of a beast when you talk about performance. Again, I'm not going to talk about how long the longevity is on these fragrances because all of these I get 9+ hours of complete longevity. But man, you're going to start to see that most of the fragrances, guys, that really get this kind of performance, you know, they're going to have certain notes. A lot of times you'll find oud in these fragrances, incense, vetiver. It's just certain kind of fixative base notes that really give fragrances that long performance. So oftentimes that's why it's so hard to find a citrus or a floral based fragrance that gives you that kind of, you know, projection and performance, because they're just not, you know, genetically made that way to really be able to perform for a long time. But not in this case. Mancera Red Tobacco, while there are quite a few Manceras that get great performance, this is probably one of the best that I put my nose on from the house of Mancera. So coming in at the 10th spot from the house of Mancera, this is called Red Tobacco. Guys, fragrances are so much better with coffee. I don't know why, but it just is. Next fragrance. The next fragrance on the list today comes from the house of by Kilian, and this one is called Straight to Heaven Extreme. Straight to Heaven Extreme. Now, I get great performance out of this fragrance. Now, I can't say that was the case with the original Straight to Heaven, but that's why they made Straight to Heaven Extreme. They made the performance of the original a lot better. And what they really did with this one is amped up the vanilla and the rum in this fragrance. And that's why you get better performance out of it. But again, masculine, sexy goodness right here, just like Red Tobacco. These are some very masculine fragrances on this list, but they really perform and give you that projection that you're looking for. So in the 9th spot from the house of by Kilian, this is Straight to Heaven Extreme. All right, guys, coming in at the 8th spot on this list, this fragrance comes from the house of Tom Ford, and this one is called Noir Anthracite. Noir Anthracite, definitely not a fan favorite of a lot of folks out there that are into fragrances, but I'm telling you, this fragrance right here, man, is so good. It's an acquired taste, but if you like masculine, manly fragrances, this is going to be one that I suggest you put your nose on. If you pair this thing with a suit, it just really works. At least for me, it does. And you find notes in this like birch. You have some leather. I think cedarwood is in this as well. Again, but it is spicy and really, you know, kind of masculine, leathery type fragrances is what you get with this right here. But man, again, the 9+ hours of performance. And, you know, like I said, I know it's not a fan favorite. A lot of folks don't really vibe with this DNA. But again, I put it on my hand. One day when I first smelled it, I was like, no, not a fan. Then I put it on my hand one day and just kind of walked around. I was doing some shopping. One day, I think I was at the, I think I was in Tennessee when me and my family took a trip to the mountains. Put it on my hand and walked around for about 2 hours, and I kept coming back to it. So I had to grab a bottle of this great beast mode performance from the house of Tom Ford. This is called Noir Anthracite. All right, the next fragrance on the list comes from the house of Parfums de Malle, and this one is called Carlisle. Carlisle. A lot of people say that Mancera Red Tobacco smells a lot like Carlisle. I'm one of those people that said that initially, but the openings on these fragrances are very different. Now, when Mancera Red Tobacco gets on the dry down, you start to pick up some resemblance to Carlisle, but you know, they're different enough to, I feel like, where you could warrant having both in your collection and not being redundant. So this one right here, again, nice apple opening, nutmeg in this as well, some vanilla and patchouli I think is in this as well, tonka bean maybe. But man, just a nice, sweet, masculine, sexy fragrance right here. Again, I'm not going into the detail about performance on these because all of them are 9+ hours, just know that. But again, if you want something that's beast mode and still gives you that kind of gourmand touch, and this is one that I recommend you take a look at from the house of Parfums de Malle. This one is called Carlisle. All right, now the next fragrance on this list, this is a classic from the house of Tom Ford, and this one is called Tobacco Vanille. Tobacco Vanille, and this is exactly what it says in the name. It's tobacco, vanilla, and dried fruits. And this stuff is manly and masculine and gives great performance. I go about 3 sprays, 4 if I'm feeling like a savage, and you know, pretty much all day long I can pick this stuff up. It's really, really strong and masculine. But again, if you like fragrances that are going to perform all day long, then this is one that is really good. It's a classic. And if you never put your nose on it, I recommend you doing so from the house of Tom Ford. This one is called Tobacco Vanille. All right, guys, coming in at the 5th spot on this list, this fragrance comes from the house of Nasomatto, and this one right here, you guessed it, Black Afgano. Black Afgano. This fragrance has cannabis. I think there may be some tobacco in this as well. You have some incense, oud, just about all the notes that you typically will find in a fragrance that's going to really, really perform for a long time. This fragrance has it. There's a nice hint of sweetness in this with a slight bit of floral that I really, really love about Black Afgano. But again, we're talking about beast mode fragrances, and this is definitely one that fits that description. Do not spray your clothes with this stuff because it will and can stain. So just a quick little tip, but again, masculine, sexy, spicy goodness right here from the house of Nasomatto. This is called Black Afgano. All right, guys, coming in at the 4th spot, we have a fragrance from the house of Frederic Malle, and this one is called Musc Ravageur. Musc Ravageur. Now, I have talked about this fragrance before on the channel, and this is a more recent formulation. I have a formulation in my collection as well. I have a 50 ml. That's about, I don't know, maybe 30% full. And that one was really beast mode. Now, I like this one a little bit better because they did tone down the clothes a little bit to me in this one. That makes it a little more wearable. But man, this stuff gives great performance, and I love it because, you know, once you get past that opening of the clothes, which can be off-putting for some people, you just have that, like I always say, a nice warm kind of Cinnabon vibe with some nice, of course, cinnamon in this. You have musk. It's just a beautiful fragrance, really masculine, really gives you some great performance from the house of Frederic Malle. Again, this one is called Musc Ravageur. All right, guys, coming in at the 3rd spot, this fragrance comes from the house of Nishane, and this is called Hacivat. This one is called Hacivat, and again, this is another one that I have talked about or spoken about before on the channel. This is a very earthy fragrance. I almost get this soily type vibe from this. It's so earthy, but that comes from, again, oak moss is in this, and it's really the patchouli. So a lot of folks, you know, when it came out, they said that the vintage clone, 5-10% maybe, 5-10%. But this really goes in a completely different direction to me. This is way more masculine and earthy fragrance right here. But again, it performs like a monster. Yeah, this is an extrait de parfum. So there you go. I told you guys before, when I sprayed this on my hand for the first time, I could see the oil residue on my hand for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, it was really glossy for a long time. And I made a big fuss about it because I was just amazed at how much oil was actually in this fragrance. But again, beast mode for sure. From the house of Nishane, this one is called Hacivat. All right, coming in at the number 2 spot on the list today, you guys all know this one. When you talk about beast mode fragrances, you have to mention this one from the house of Amouage, and this one is called Interlude Man, aka the Blue Beast. Now, this is one of the fragrances that really is known really worldwide, I think, as a fragrance that gives you great nuclear beast mode performance, and it's true, guys. I love this stuff. It has oregano, it has incense, it has oud, it has patchouli, it has leather. I mean, just about any note that you can think of that you typically are gonna find in a real strong performing beast mode fragrance is in the Blue Beast, and that's why it has this name. But what I love about this fragrance, and again, I'm gonna do a full review of this soon because I really wanna have a review of this on my channel. But once you get past that oregano opening, and it gets to the dry down, you start to get some of those sweet resins that come into play, and it's just gorgeous. But again, beast mode for sure from the house of Amouage. You're talking about the Blue Beast, and that is Interlude Man. All right, guys, and coming in at the number 1 spot on this list, this fragrance is a more recent acquisition, but man, anybody that has put this fragrance on their skin will confirm. This fragrance can go toe-to-toe with the Blue Beast as it relates to performance. From the house of Louis Vuitton, this one is called Ombre Nomade. Ombre Nomade from Louis Vuitton. And listen, this stuff is good, it is good, and it is sexy. It has rose, benzoin, and oud. And man, I'm telling you, stuff smells absolutely fantastic. I think saffron might be in this as well, but this thing performs all day long on my skin, all day long. Again, equivalent to the kind of performance that I get from Amouage's Interlude Man, and it smells great. The reason that it got the nod in number 1 spot because I like the scent DNA of this just a hair more than I like Interlude Man. That's just my personal taste. But again, this fragrance really, really does perform. I've worn it several times since I've had it. I've worn it, you know, to have this many fragrances in my collection. Now, for the time that I've had this, I've worn it a lot, honestly. And man, all you need is 2 sprays. Again, if I feel like an absolute savage, I'll throw a 3rd one on there. but this thing performs like a monster. From the house of Louis Vuitton, this one is called Ombre Nomade. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this video as I gave you guys 10 beast mode masculine manly fragrances that perform all day long on my skin. As always, I appreciate you guys taking a few moments to watch this video because, of course, I know you could have been anywhere else in the world. You don't have to watch, you don't have to support the channel, but you do. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. Now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and take a few moments to go ahead and share these videos out to some other folks that you think could use this information or find me entertaining, because I am your guy, the bow tie fragrance guy. And I love to look good, and of course, as always, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.